we wanted to start with that because we believe that there are some real connections to the overall IDOH mission and vision and what we have written as our renewed mission and vision and values statements for our commercial tobacco control plan. So the mission and vision of TPC has been revisited and revised, and we did also add values statements. And the revised vision and mission, as you see here on this slide, and new values statement, which is summarized here, but the value statements are much more detailed in the actual plan. So I encourage you all to take a look. These illustrate the ways in which our work in commercial tobacco control needs to be intersectional really at every step. I'll just point out that there is an asterisk by the vision, and that's because we have a definition of commercial tobacco control products at the bottom of this slide. And it's also in our plan if you need to go take a closer look. Something else that changed for the new 5-year plan was a really deep focus and deliberate focus on health equity throughout. And it's not that it wasn't present in our past plans, but with this plan, equity is really woven throughout the plan and in every priority area, including the objectives and strategies sections. So rather than just including it, it really is an integral part of the new plan. You'll see in one of the first sections, if you happen to look at the full plan, we summarize our successes over the past 5 years that have been achieved through implementing best practices. So these are, they connect to some of the objectives written in the last 5-year plan and indicate that we met or exceeded the targets for those objectives. So some good news there. And then next, you'll see that the strategic plan, as in past years, is organized by 4 overarching priority areas. And these priority areas have stayed constant. So no huge changes to the overarching priority areas. I will say that the one significant change is that the youth prevention priority area is now youth and young adults. So we've expanded our reach and our focus there, not only to middle school and high school students, but to young adults ages 18 to 24. So going through these one at a time, again, just a high-level summary, we have a focus on youth prevention, preventing exposure to secondhand smoke, adult tobacco cessation and tobacco treatment, and preserving and expanding tobacco control infrastructure. And this is just a high-level overview, a summary of what's included in the strategic plan. I'll share that on each monthly call for the next 4 months, we will be taking a deeper look at each priority area, starting next month with youth and young adults. But wanted to touch on the highlights. And as we look at each of these priority areas, you'll really see that we are really focusing on addressing disparities through some of these new objectives and the disparities that currently exist among those that are affected by tobacco use and secondhand smoke exposure. So we have some new objectives here, and you'll see that there's an objective on flavored tobacco product use, including menthol, and there's also an objective written in to specifically focus on cigar and cigarillo prevalence among our African-American youth as well. And the next priority area is exposure to secondhand smoke. And again, just a snapshot of some of the objectives that are included in the plan. We're going to be focusing on exposure to secondhand smoke in the household. There's a specific objective written in for smoke-free homes among those living with children, which we think is obviously really important, smoke-free homes among African Americans, and then behavioral health, which Kayla touched upon. So some really important focus areas here, again, connecting back to health equities and really drilling down to some of the disparities that we need to work on. And cessation, we have some highlights here. We are aiming to decrease the overall adult smoking rate to 15% by 2025. We have an objective specifically for pregnant women who smoke and Medicaid members, and then many more specific objectives reaching some target populations in Indiana. So encourage you to look at the plan specifically for those. And then lastly, our infrastructure priority area. And the objectives that fall under this priority area are focused on enabling our program to protect the infrastructure that we've built. And then as we focus on growing and expanding and working on new partnerships and fostering collaboration throughout the state, we do it through a lens of equity and really investing in the marginalized communities that we know we need to focus on to make progress in commercial tobacco use as well as secondhand smoke exposure. So I really encourage you all to take a look at this new plan. We're really excited about it and really want to start sharing it. It is posted on our website, and I'm going to share a link to where it is on our website in the chat. So please, in the next few weeks, take a look at it, and I encourage you all to think about how all the different objectives and focus areas and priority areas really connect to your work at the local level, because you all are part of this plan. We wrote it with everyone in Indiana who's doing commercial tobacco control in mind. So I will put the link to the full plan in the chat. Like I said, look for summaries by each priority area in the coming months, and I'm happy to take any questions if there are any.